Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am Tal, and today out of the armory we have taken the Radzig, the foam weapon that you usually see on the wall, but today it is the topic. It's of course the refurbished version because the non-refurbished version is very expensive by Kalimasil. But let's get into the thing. So, as you can tell, it's heavily inspired by the earlier longswords, like end of the 14th century, or like latter half. That's how it's said. Of the 14th century, it is, of course, a replica of the sword made by Sir Radzig in the video game Kingdom Come Deliverance, of which I have covered Henry a couple videos back. And life with this foam sword has been quite the adventure. I bought it in 2019, almost like 2 years on the spot. It was like June, May of 2019. And at first, I didn't really like it because the handle is short for a two-handed weapon, for a longsword. It's kinda on the short end. The pommel is like obnoxiously big. It fits in a very uncomfortable position unless you use a very specific style of grip, which I think it's called the handshake, but I'm not proficient in that style. It feels very weird, especially with gauntlets. So it feels meh with a normal grip. The weapon is the blade is, as you can tell, almost a full finger wide, so it's very wide and it kind of drags down when you're swinging. So the first impression wasn't really impressive, if you pardon the very bad pun. But after taking some time with it, I used it in like a couple of events when I made the new character from the previous one who died real bad, and then 2020 happened, and I mostly sparred with this puppy. I realized that those weren't really, well, those were bugs, quote unquote, issues, only if I considered them to be issues. Now, why do I say so? Because if you take your time to strike with this weapon and do not go 17,000 strikes a minute like you can go with the Henry or the Witcher Steel, which is like right behind you, and you take your time to be very dramatic about your striking, you charge up overhead and then you go down with a very mean intention, but not very fast. The Radzig doesn't go fast. It goes impressive. It goes hefty. That's the point. That's the where the Radzig shines. So if you do that, it gives you the very sort of for me satisfying feeling of going, I do twice as much damage as every other one-handed weapon. Not just the rules say that I do twice as much damage in my local gaming, but also the FizzRep feels like it does, and it leans very well into my personal combat style for that specific character, which is very dramatic, slow, ponderous strikes. So this is like, for my style, this was a very good purchase. It may not be the same for you. Be aware of that. And this leads me to the next point. By the way, sorry for the frequent cuts. Apparently, everybody chose to have a stroll with a very loud and noisy vehicle right now. But the next point is balance. the balance of the Radzig is, or at least to me, feels kind of off, which means it feels heavier than it actually is. And this is the reason why, to me, it has such hefty response. For me, this is a good thing because when you fight with two-handed LARP weapons, because they are so light, it's very easy to go too fast, to accelerate them to painful speeds. They may not cause damage, as in wound somebody, because they are, the foam. They like if I whack myself on the face, on the head, it doesn't do damage. But it's not pleasant anyway, because it's a very, he says, making absolute fool of himself. It's a oddly light object accelerated to a very high speed. So, and also with particularly narrow blades, it almost whips, because the core of the weapon is a fiberglass fiber. I think that's what it's called in English. Fiberglass rod. It bends and it goes schwack, which is not really pleasant. So because it is sluggish, the Radzig is kind of sluggish, sort of drags against you when you are charging up the hit. It always forces me to be in the moment, mindful of what I'm doing, and the speed I am accelerating the weapon. So effectively, for the people who fight with me, I am a safer fighter to fight with. And I think this is a very cool thing. It's very important. LARP is a game. It's not a confrontation. It's not a competition. It's a game. Okay? Don't hurt each other, please. It's nobody has fun doing that stuff. So this is cool. Now, I realize I have completely messed up my list of things to do, because improvising is fun. I had a bit of a piece of paper here, and everything's gone to crap. So, I'll say one more thing that is relevant. As I said earlier, a note about the pommel. This pommel is kinda in the way if you are not wearing gauntlets, because it's very big. It sits in a natural / uncomfortable position unless you do the handshake thing. If you're wearing gauntlets, however, because the handle is very thin, so you lose sensitivity of where your hand is, where the handle in relation to your hand is. This pommel is your best friend, because it tells you that you're gripping the weapon where the edge is without you having to watch it. With this said, I wish you a good, at this point, end of the day here, or whatever part of the thingy cycle, sun, moon, stars bits it's supposed to be where you live. And I hope you fight safe. I hope you are safe. And as always, see you next time.